Hello S2 and welcome to your final Graphics in the Film Industry lesson. Before we start going through this week's lesson, I just want to say a big well done for all your hard work during this lockdown period, and I hope you have a lovely Easter holiday which follows this lesson obviously next week. So I'm going to talk through again what we're going to do for the third lesson. So I'm just going to move on to the next slide at the top. Okay, so for lesson 3 we're going to plan a digital advertisement for Odeon cinemas. After being forced to close throughout the pandemic, you're tasked with designing an advertisement to encourage the public to return to the cinema. So learn intentions for this week, where we're learning to reinforce our knowledge of scenes and transitions. Remember this has been going on for the last 2 lessons. We're also learning to further develop our creativity and to improve our sketching skills once again. Now, digital advertisement is a way of promoting or selling something to users through various online and digital means. This could be social media, email, search engines, mobile apps, programs and websites to show advertisements and messages to audiences. So this week I've got one task again. This task is to sketch out ideas for the digital advertisement for use on social media. Use a storyboard template on the next slide, which you can either copy or trace or print the template. So I've attached it again like last week to the assignment, and we're going to do the following. So the advertisement should encourage the public to return to the cinemas by showcasing the films that are due to be released. You may need to do some research on that and see what films are due to be released in the future. It should also, for number 2, reflect the branding for Odeon cinemas. So Odeon's a really large cinema chain that's worldwide, so think of the colours and font they use already. If you look at the top corner of the screen, I've put some images on here, but you're more than welcome to look up other images as well. So as you can see, they use blues and silvers and blacks and stuff in their design, and whites in their design. So trying to use those colours is certainly in your advertisement. But number 3, it should include pictures and text, so not just pictures, not just writing, a bit of both please, and should be 20 seconds long. Now if you want to, you can brand it for a certain social media, so you can make it suitable for Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. So if we move on to the next page, what we've got is a template we're going to use. So just remember, this template has been attached to the assignment. You can print it if you like and just draw into the scene, into the template, or you can draw it again. If you're going to draw it on a piece of paper, please use a ruler to make it easier for you. So your task this week is very similar to last week. You'll notice it is very similar. It's to draw out the storyboard template on a piece of paper, but then you're going to sketch out what scenes you would like in your digital advertisement, but not film trailers, advertisement. That's going to go in, you can see my mouse hopefully, just here. We're going to write a description of what happens in the scene, again just in this box here, and tell us how long each scene lasts for, underneath. And part 5, tell us what transitions are between each scene. Now the transitions you'll see in film will be the same transitions as you would see in a presentation or an advertisement. You might recognise some of the transitions last week as being similar to ones you would see in something like PowerPoint. So if you click this link at the bottom, it will take you to the website we've seen previously about transitions to remind you about them. An idea is we're going to then sketch out a potential idea. Okay, so I'm now going to demonstrate how to do the digital advertisement storyboard. What I've done for this task is I've actually printed off the template. Just to remind you, you could always just draw it out or even trace it from the screen if you like. Now, just to remind you, this advertisement, let's bring this across so you can see, okay. The plan is to do digital advertisement for Odeon cinemas. After being forced to close through the pandemic, you're tasked with designing an advertisement to encourage the public to return to the cinema. We're looking for you to sketch out ideas for this advertisement on the template. And the idea is it's going to have the following things. It should encourage the public to return to the cinemas by showcasing the films that are due to be released. It should reflect the branding of Odeon cinemas. So again, think of the colours and fonts they use already. I've got some pictures in the top corner here, but you may want to go and do a little bit of research as well. And it should also include text and pictures and be 20 seconds long. So on the template, as you'll see, there's 4 scenes we're going to work through. I'm going to make each scene last for about 5 seconds as we go through. Now, the first thing I'm going to start by doing is doing a little sketch of what I want scene 1 to be like, and then describing scene 1 underneath it. To make it easier, I'm going to concentrate on mostly 2D images. So I'm not going to have any animation really, where things might be in 3D and spin. So it's mostly 2D that I'm going to focus on. I will have 2D animation where things might move. And probably the best thing to do is think about using PowerPoint. You may have had an experience of using that at some point in school. So think about doing animation with PowerPoint for this part. Okay, so for scene 1, I'm going to start by having a little think, and I'm going to I'm going to have the Odeon logo in this part here, and their tagline, which is called Fanatical About Film. Okay, so I think I'm going to start. Now for this, I'm going to try and draw the Odeon logo, but you might want to get the Odeon logo and possibly trace it, like so you can trace through the logo, but I'm just going to sketch. Now what I'm looking to do underneath that is describe what's going to happen. So I'm going to start by saying the scene starts with the Odeon logo on a light blue background. Now what I'm then going to end on is the tagline, which is Fanatic About Film. I'm going to have that appear by fading in at the same time as We Are Still, and I think I then will have We Are Still doing some sort of animation. So I think I might have it so it changes colour, so it emphasises it, makes it stand out. So I'm just going to write that underneath. There we are, so that's opening scene. I think for scene 2 I'm going to emphasise that they are still open, just to get that message across. So I think I'm going to have, in this part of the screen here, something saying all cinemas open May 21, and I might have a list of the cinemas as well, just to emphasise they've got cinemas in most major cities in Scotland. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to draw this. So I think I'll have May 21 in bold so it kind of stands out there. And then I'm going to have the cinemas coming underneath it, so I'm going to do Edinburgh. This might be a longer list possibly as well. Okay, so what's going to happen here? Well, I'm thinking that the All Cinemas opens May 21, starts in the middle of the screen, so that's the first thing you'll see, and then it moves upwards. And as it moves upwards, the list of cities will then appear from the bottom and move upwards with it. A bit like a film screen or a film reel as it's going along. So I'm just going to write that in. There we are. So for scene 3, I'm now going to emphasise that it's safe. That's one of the things we want to try and do, is emphasise that it's safe for people to return. So I'm going to look at, in this scene here, trying to get across that they're COVID-free. So I'm going to add some pictures in here as well. I've not got many pictures. It's mostly a blue background. I'm going to have, I think, a light blue background in both of these scenes just now, with the writing being the prominent feature. I think for this one here, I'm looking for a cinema scene. So I think I'll have a screen, the cinema screen, something like this. Again, for this, you might want to get a picture just to copy. I might have on here the Odeon iconic 0, which is part of the logo. Something like that. I'll make it so it's like a corner of the room there. And I think we'll have the seats coming around as well. So I'm going to have a seat, a cinema seat, should be in this sort of part here. So then swing round. And you might see a couple of rows of these seats. I'm just going to rough the sketches in just now. There we are. And on top of that, so I'm going to have that writing as the main backdrop. On top of that, I'm going to have the main message. I'm going to have COVID-free. So I'm going to have, and probably have the same font as I've had here as well. I'm just going to do it as block writer. So now. There you are, so COVID-free to get the message across. And I also want to think of some images to go as well. So I'm thinking the background image might be a little bit dark with the odd little bit of bright colours, which is known as an accent colour, just to catch your eye. But I think I might use some silhouettes to then make this image so it's got a bit more of a health and safety feel to it. So I think I might have like a little symbol in the top corner, maybe use the same ones that they've used quite a lot in the pandemic, which is going to have a little silhouette of a person. So silhouette is an outline of a person, usually coloured in, so I'm going to colour it in black there.
And I'm just going to do another quick outline of a person. Again, just throw some colour at it. With the arrows, I think it's got an arrow like that, an arrow like that with 2 meters there. So I think you'll have that, and also maybe a mask one as well. So might do a silhouette of a mask. Again, maybe it's a silhouette there. And I might write the word mask on it, which might just go in that stage there, maybe in white as well, I think. Anyway, so that's my third scene, and for that one I think I'm just going to have it so it appears, so no animation in this case. Right, and the last scene, so the last scene here, one of the things it said in the specification we gave you at the start, which is a list of things it should have, is that it should also promote the films that are due to be released this year. So for this one here, I'm going to start with a coming soon right in the centre, and I think I might have it as a black background in this case, just to add a lot of contrast here. So the coming soon might have it as a bright blue, again, so it'll be so coming soon. And I think with the black background here, I might have some white writing. This is known as reverse text, with the films that's coming through soon actually appearing one at a time. So it's like it's been thrown onto the background here. So I've done a little bit of research here, and I'm going to have Spider-Man 3, and then okay, so I think we'll have the coming soon, fade in and expand. And I think we'll have a list of films. Anyway, so I think we'll have the coming soon fading in and expanding, so to get larger, to be emphasised. Then after that we'll have a list of films coming out in 2021 that'll just appear one at a time, which will catch your eyes and work from the top down to the bottom. There we go, so that's me drawing out my scenes and added a description. What I now need to do is think of the scene length. It should be no more than 20 seconds long, so I'm just going to keep it nice and straightforward and make each scene 5 seconds. And finally we need to think of the transitions, and just to remind you, the common transitions, we've got our cross cut, cut, dissolve and fade. So I'm going to start with a cross cut, and I'm going to have fades, and the last one's going to be fade to black. There we are. Now at this stage here, that's enough to be handed in. However, if you've got some coloured pencils, it'd be really nice to throw some colour at these to get an idea of what you think the colours would look like. But we've covered all the main things we're looking for. So we've got a sketch of our scene, we've described it, because obviously we've got things that could happen in the scene over the course of the 5 seconds, and we've got about the transitions between each scene as well. Now I'm going to make one of these as an example using PowerPoint. You can do that as an extension task for this week if you like. You may just want to look at the PowerPoint example just to get an idea of what a digital advertisement could actually look like.
I'm back on the slideshow, as you can see, or the PDF slideshow, to see an example of how to do an extension task and make a digital version of this. You can click this link just here, and it'll take you through to another video of me showing you how to do that. You can do it in 2 ways, this extension task. It can be done on your mobile phone, and it can also be done on a computer. It's optional, you do not have to do the extension task, but it might be quite a good bit of fun, and it'd be nice to see some of these being realised in a digital form than just being thought out on a bit of paper through sketches and writing. Finally, just come back to the last slide. Like the last 2 weeks, has been a marking scheme again to give you an idea of how to achieve each level. So again, there's 4 things we're looking for, just like last week, and it's pretty much exactly the same. Well done S2, I'm really looking forward to seeing some of these come in, especially hopefully some digital ones if possible as well. Have a great Easter holidays from all of us in the technology department. Best wishes, stay safe.